Welcome to another fly fishing video. I've come to the country of Slovenia and I'm hopefully going to do a little mini series on the adventures that Ian and I are going to have. So without further ado, let's get into it. Guys, before we get started, I thought we'd add some value and head off any questions that you may have if I explain how Ian and I got out to Slovenia. It can be a lot cheaper than you think. Firstly, Ian and I booked our flight through EasyJet, flying from London Gatwick Airport to Ljubljana. You can also fly into other airports closer to the Soča Valley. However, on this occasion, it was cheaper to fly into the capital and then drive across the country. Providing you fill in the online detail prior to your departure, the pickup and drop off the car was very simple. Accommodation. We stayed in a guest house in the Soča Valley, just outside a little town called Tomlin. The host's name was Thomas. He was absolutely outstanding. Nothing was too much trouble. The apartment Ian and I booked was for bed and breakfast. It had a balcony which had stunning views and also kitchen amenities if you wanted to self-cater. The fishing fees I will cover later in the video. There is a wealth of information on the internet about visiting Slovenia for a fly fishing trip. You can follow the same or a similar path to how Ian and I have done it this time round, or you could simply use the magic door.
Through the door, I'm hit by the same old tide, blinded by the lights, and I'm going through changes, but it's easier with you. I'm going through changes, and so are you. I live for the moments when you're around me.
Boom! Yeah, no, that was right. And then you took it. Don't pull up too much line in. Don't take too much. Shit. You get the job. Yeah, I got him everything. Guys, if you're enjoying the videos, please don't forget to leave them a like and please consider subscribing to the channel. It's absolutely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. I would really appreciate your support. I'm joined by Leslie Jansen. He's from the Netherlands originally, but he is now a resident of Slovenia. And you've been guiding for how long, Leslie?
I'm doing that now for 10 years here on the Soča.
10 years, and you only guide on the Soča, don't you?
I take the Soča Valley, so that's also including the Idrica and all the small tributaries like Tolminka or Koritnica.
Yeah, and there's fish in all those rivers, isn't there?
It's a lovely area.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's, well, you can see, folks, it's absolutely breathtaking here. And what's your speciality then, Leslie? What is it you do mostly?
What I do mostly, or actually exclusively, is fishing on site. I go walk the river with my clients, and we're going to walk and explain them where to find my fish. And we're not going to cast if we don't see a fish. So it's really fishing on site, where the Soča is actually made for.
Yeah, I mean the rivers here are so crystal clear, and you'll see later on in the video, I hope, some underwater footage, and you can see the fish as clear as a bell in this river. It's absolutely stunning. So, 10 years doing it. Have you got any funny stories for your guiding days? I always ask guides, is there some funny stories?
I guess so, yeah. I think the majority of the people that come here, they really underestimate the fishing over here, because they think the Soča is clear, we can see our fish, so it should be easy to get them. But it has also some downsides. It makes you very humble very quickly over here. So
yeah, absolutely. And I've been coming to Slovenia for a number of years, and usually we base ourselves in Bled and fish the Sava River. But last year I came on a family holiday, and I came over for one day, and I just thought this year I had to make a sort of fishing trip of it and get a couple of consecutive days. It does take you a while to adapt to this sort of river.
it's something completely different than the Sava area. It's the fish are more tricky and more spooky over here, and they're also more picky about the presentation of your fly, and need to have also the right fly choice. Yes, mostly we try to change a couple of flies, and if the fish doesn't respond on that, then he's probably not hungry, and we can really see that because the fish is really in our vision. And if it doesn't work out, we just walk on and find another one.
And Leslie says they're within our vision, they're within his vision. I'm still struggling to see. It was towards the end of the day yesterday, you start to get your eye in and you recognise what's a fish and what's a stick. It does take a while to adapt.
It took me around 10 years to figure it all out. Yeah?
10 years,
10 years,
well,
yeah.
I'm only a day in, I've got time to go. So you may be thinking, what's the best time of year to come to fly fish the River Soča? Leslie, what do you think?
I think the whole season can be good here. The month April, May and June have my preferred time, and September and October. I think July and August is too busy with regular tourists, and to have some really good fishing with some more magical days in a month, that's definitely April and definitely October.
Yeah, I think what you've got to be aware of as well is the river gets very busy. There's a lot of anglers come here, and you've got to just share. The other thing I've noticed from my trips before is the kayaks. There's quite a lot of kayaks come. It doesn't bother the fish at all. I think they're
Not
just
much.
used to it. But if you're fishing away and a kayak goes over your spot, it can be quite frustrating.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. So lucky we have only the Soča River that's allowed for the kayakers. All the other rivers is exclusively for us fishermen and for the people that like to swim in the summertime.
So let's talk about the tackle. I mean, I fish the rivers back home, and when I've come here in the past, I've generally fished the rivers with my usual fare. And what is that usual fare? It's usually an 8'6" for a 3-weight dry fly rod, and a 10-foot for a 3-weight nymphing rod, and that's kind of how I do most of my river fishing. Jan, what do you reckon to the kit you'll need if you're going to come and fish a big river like this?
If you only can bring one rod, you just have maybe a limited amount of stuff that you can bring. Just bring a 5-weight 9-foot, a mid-flex action.
Mid-flex.
That's the rod I fish here all year long, all the time on any river.
Yeah.
And then you have a little bit of backbone to have a chance on the bigger fish, because they will use the current. It's like if you're hooked on the log, so you need to have a little bit of backbone to fight those fish.
And also the Soča is a powerful river, so having that 5-weight will probably give you more of a chance to land the fish. And what I've found is that it really helps to have a buddy, because if the fish gets downstream of you, you could really do with a hand netting the fish. So you may be wondering what to fill your fly boxes with before you make your trip out here. Leslie, what do you reckon I need? We've travelled in the month of June. It's very early June. We're only the 2nd or 3rd day into June. What flies would work particularly well?
At this time we have the very big Perla stoneflies coming out, so you need to have definitely some stimulators in your box.
That's the big black one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the big. We have the one with, let's say, the olive color body or the yellow color body.
Yeah.
It's like a size 5 centimeter big stonefly.
I've seen a couple down the river actually.
Yes, there were yesterday were a couple of them. Today I didn't see no stoneflies yet, only some small yellow sallies and some small needleflies. So it's actually all the regular stuff here. One of the biggest the most flies we find here is the caddis.
Caddis. I think caddis, if you river fish anywhere in the world, you'll probably agree the caddis is a very staple fly for any river. Really, you would put your money on it for any fish rising.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah,
If I can
absolutely.
choose one fly the rest of my life and I can only fish that fly, it will be the Goddard caddis in a natural color size 12.
Yeah,
That gives the fish a reason to come up. Because
very
if they,
versatile.
very versatile. If they would feed on, let's say, some smaller insects, then they come. There's one caddis coming over. That's for them like a sort of hamburger, and they will probably respond on that too if the presentation is right.
Yeah, and presentation's key here. It's very easy to get dragged quickly.
Yes, micro drag too.
Yeah, and micro drag, but well, in my case, just drag. But micro drag's
Yes,
obviously an issue as well. Now it's a long way to come, and there's quite literally hundreds of miles of rivers in Slovenia. And hiring a guide, it's not the cheapest way of doing your business, but it's certainly the most efficient way. If you want to come and catch fish, it's always best to hire a guide, and I'm pleased to have engaged the services of Leslie for the couple of days that I'm here on the Soča. And where can people find out about you, Leslie?
I have a website, slow-fly.com.
Okay.
They got all the explanation about what kind of rivers we have here in the Soča Valley, where to get your fishing license, what to do with the accommodation, a little map about the area. So all the questions you might have, I think you can find all the answers on my website.
When the hatches come on, you've got a very small window of opportunity to catch the fish. So what you want to be able to do is change your flies very quickly. A couple of drifts over with a fly, if it's not right, you change the fly. Now, the older I get, the longer it seems to take me. But I've seen something that Leslie does that is absolutely amazing. It takes seconds.
So let's say there's the old expression going, time is money, but time is also fish. So if I find a fish and I give it a couple of casts over it, and I know the presentation is right, drag-free, and the fish doesn't respond, I want to change my flies quick. And because I'm making some movement next to the river, the fish might see me and he might get spooked. So how more movements that I make, how more longer I take to tie the knot, how more chance I have that I don't catch that fish or I'm going to spook it in the end. So I figured out a way that I know already for the last 24 years. It's actually a clinch knot, but I use that with a tweezer. So what I have the fly, I hang it down in the loop, I stick the tag end on the right side out, and the leader falls over my hand. So I got a lot of space to stick my tweezer in there, to do the helicopter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Then I grab the end of the line and I pull it through the loop. Then I hold it tight on the fly, wet it 1 second, I give it a strong pull. That's a quick setup. So now I only have to cut off the tag end, and that's a fly change within 10 seconds.
That is a superb way of doing it, and certainly when I get back, I'm going to be buying a set of tweezers and giving that a go. But in the future, Leslie, you've got a little tool that's going to do more than just that for you, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's maybe one to watch out for, and hopefully Leslie will be kind enough to send me a set and I'll be able to show you on the channel. Well, we're getting near 6 o'clock in the evening, and I've enjoyed the company of Leslie most of the day. Ian's found himself a little spot and he's gone away fishing on his own. I've not seen him this evening yet. I'm hoping he's okay. I'm just trying to think how much kit I've lent him, and well, I'll have to go and find it in the bushes.
It's gone.
I'm sure he's absolutely fine. But what Leslie and I have done is we've gone into the canyon section today, and what an experience it's been. Exhausting is not the word. Leslie, could you explain a little bit about the canyon?
I think the canyon is one of our magical places. It's very rough, it's a lot of big stones, you have to climb over there, you have to look for your fish, and you need to be physically correct. Yeah? If you have a little bit of problems with your knees or your back, you're not going to make it till the end over there.
I've got a little bit of problem with a keg on the front end here, but I managed it as best I can. I think I must have lost about 4 pounds in sweat today.
But you win 1 year on your life, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And yet I think if you're going to do it, you have got to be physically fit, but you can just take your time, I suppose.
Sure, you can do the whole day.
And I think you have to take your time, because it can be a dangerous place. If you snap your ankle there,
You got a problem a little
pain
bit.
for a long time.
Wouldn't go there alone.
But so how did we do? We did pretty well. We got a fish in the morning, and we've sight fished today for all our fish, and that's your preferred way of guiding, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, because blind fishing is like a hunter that's going to shoot around on the mountain, hope to shoot some animal.
Yeah.
It's like zero chance, so it's better just to walk a bit and take your time. Maybe it takes a half hour to an hour before you find your fish, but they know exactly where you cast, where you need to cast, and then you have a big chance to get something.
And actually that was borne out today. So Leslie, when he'd spotted a fish and got me into position, he would correct where I've cast it. It's to the right, it's to the left. He goes, that's good, and
That's right,
nearly
that's right.
every time I had an opportunity to catch a fish, and that goes, you know, through years and years of knowledge. Is it? You know when the drift's going to be right and when the fish are going to take.
They need to have it right, yeah. Otherwise, you have a chance almost zero again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But and what I would say is hooking one doesn't mean that you're going to land one, because you're in a powerful flow. You're dealing these fish aren't the stocky fish that you find elsewhere on the Soča. These fish are wild and they're big. I think I hooked one this afternoon. It would have been about 4.5, 5 pounds.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 60 plus centimeters, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get a close look at that fish, but it's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much for your help, Leslie.
Thanks for coming, Lindsay. Yeah?
I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure to show you that place.
And hopefully I'll get a chance to come out fishing with you again.
You have to. As long as you still can, you still should do it.
Well, hopefully it'll be on a chalk stream in England somewhere where it's easy to walk.
Thanks a lot, Lindsay.
Good stuff, mate.
Nice.